another session of Art at Home, a course in creativity. And today we are going to be doing artwork inspired by the great Pablo Picasso, the 20th century master whose name has become synonymous with great art. During his long and illustrious career, he lived from 1881 to 1973, Picasso drew, painted, sculpted, and just defined so many moments and movements in 20th century art. In his older adult years, he turned to ceramics and clay work. And this was for a number of reasons. One, just because it's fun and it feels good, but also because by this time, Picasso's work had become so collectible and so valuable that the average person who just wanted an object of beauty in their home couldn't even come close. So Picasso wanted to make sure that people who loved beautiful art could have an object of beauty from the hand of Picasso himself in their home. So he turned to small ceramics, decorative goods, household things, and he loved making little sculptures of owls. He had an owl who visited him at his studio in France and would sit on his potter's wheel. And Picasso and the owl became friends. And Picasso saw a lot of symbolism in the owl from mythology, from history. What we're going to do is sculpt a little owl, like you see me starting here, out of air-dry clay. In your kit, you have a blob, that's the technical term, of air-dry clay. You also have a little piece of cardboard. The cardboard serves two purposes. One is to give you a nice surface to hold your clay, and another is to give yourself some limitations. Great art has to have limitations. Without limitations, you could do anything. That's not what art's about. We gotta have our limitations. So this is gonna be the stand for your beautiful little owl. So you get the blob, you pull out something that looks like a head blob. Notice while I'm working on this, I'm dipping my fingers in some water and smoothing it over. This is messy, but all of this will clean right out, and it's just clay. It's not going to stain. So you come up with a shape like this that looks roughly like a little owl head and a little pudgy owl body. Okay? And then using a pinching motion, pull out a sort of fan-shaped tail. You can use your finger pinches to indicate feathers too. When you're working with clay, you want the clay to be smooth and maybe a little damp, but not wet. It can easily turn into just a horrendous mess. Okay, I want to have our owl looking right at me here. Alright, here I am here. I'm going to have to decide where I want the front of my owl to be. I think it's going to be here. So I'm going to pinch out a little teeny tiny beak. And then use my fingers to create the surface for the eyes. And we're going to give this little owl a minute or two to dry while we get a pencil to use as a carving tool for the next step of our owl. You have your basic owl shape. You see it's the body with the head turned towards you and a little pointy beak. You can do some details with the pencil as a carving tool. And don't go too hog wild with this. Just get maybe some little eyeballs. And then you may want to do a few lines radiating out from the eyes to indicate the feathers. You may also want to indicate a wing, but you're just giving a suggestion of the feathers. We're really keeping it into a simple form. Picasso would approve. Yeah, and I'm really just not going to do any more than that. Maybe a little foot here. There we go. A little foot there. A little foot here. We've got our owl. Now anything you want smooth, take your moistened fingertips and smooth it out. You can feel it's already starting to dry out. And that's a good thing. Nice and smooth. There. And now we have a beautiful little owl who is ready to be placed outside to dry in the sun. And then, when she's all dry, you could, if you wanted, add a little bit of black accents. We've included a black permanent marker in your kit so that once your owl is dry and you decide, I think I want a little bit here, I think I want a little bit there. Look at the Picasso owl examples that we have in the kit for you and decide whether you want some accents on it or not, your choice. And then after a couple of hours, it will be totally dry and able to stand watch over your art studio and remind you of the genius and inspiration of Pablo Picasso and how you too can be a great artist by doing art at home. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.